Maybe sitting right now and asking yourself the same question that a lot of creators do, and that is, do I take that old account that's been dormant or sleeping for months or years, or do I start over and give myself a fresh start with a brand new account? That's what we're going to talk about today, and that is a question that gets asked all the time. Old versus new, what is the best way to go? I'm going to try to answer that for you, or at least give you a little bit of direction and hopefully help you out. Creators and people in general love the idea of a fresh start. I'm going to start this brand new thing and it's going to be amazing and it's going to be fantastic. And I'm going to do everything better than what I did before, but that may not always be the right answer for what you're trying to do, because new accounts have limitations, new accounts have restrictions, and Instagram is very concerned with spam, bots. So when you create this new account, it will be scrutinized. Your activity will be limited, so that's something you really need to consider. And in the end, even if you open a new account, potentially it may not work out. A new account is heavily scrutinized by Instagram and the algorithm to protect its users, because there are many accounts open every single day, and Instagram has to sort and filter through them all. It's not going to put a person behind it. It's going to use the algorithm or AI to filter that out, and you may potentially get caught in the middle of it. So at a minimum, that new account's going to get restricted, and at a maximum, everything you do may lead you down the same road. So let's talk about taking that old account and reviving it from the dead, or bringing it back, and what the benefits of that are. And it is having an established account with followers, with content, with engagement that Instagram is already aware of. This is something that's going to work heavily in your favor, especially if it's a significant following. If you have an old account that you're reviving that has thousands of followers or tens of thousands, but you haven't done anything with in a while, that is key. It's huge. You already have an audience base. You already have eyes for your content and users that you can get your content out to and get that exposure. But most of all, it's less suspicious and it has less limitations. It actually has no limitations, as you do with new accounts who are going to be limited out the gate, as we discussed. But there is a potential with reviving an old account. Let's get real for a second. Many creators have had their accounts restricted or flagged for some kind of suspicious behavior, whether you use some third-party suspicious app that Instagram did not like, whether you bought followers, paid for fake engagement, whatever it may be, you may be carrying that burden on the old account, which may negatively affect its growth. Now, Instagram, when it restricts an account, should do so for about 30 to 90 days, depending on your restriction or how close it was to your previous restriction. It should store that for about 1 year until it drops off from your account status or your account notifications, and your account should be clean from there. That being said, if you had a significant amount of suspicious activity that was flagged, or your account was restricted multiple times, this may be something you want to consider before reviving an old account. So, 2 things to remember. Yes, you don't have those initial restrictions, but if you were doing something suspicious, something that Instagram did not like, that is going to negatively affect you, and you really need to consider that. But most importantly, what you should think about is the type of content that you posted before. 1, is it appropriate or is it relevant to what you're going to post now? What we're talking about is niches. Was it in the same niche? You need to consider, if you're taking an old account that you are creating content for, say, beauty or makeup or anything like that, now all of a sudden you're going to start getting into survival skills or outdoor content. Those are different sides of the spectrum. They're going to be different sides or different demographics for your audience. That is something you need to consider. It is not necessarily a deal breaker. You will just need to change your content, but your audience that you have is probably not going to be interested in it. So think about that when you're considering reviving an old account. Is the niche that I am in now, can I take that audience and can I convert them to this new audience? Are they going to be interested? There should always be some overlap. Most people are not single-minded or one track. They are going to have various interests. But if you're completely polar opposites, it's going to be difficult. And you may get stuck trying to completely rebrand, change the name, remove old posts and content, and now start this new content. While you did that on the face value, it's good. The algorithm still keeps the data points from your previous engagement, and it's going to be pushing your content out to the wrong audience, which is going to diminish your engagement and diminish how Instagram and the algorithm see the performance of your content. So that's the key things that you want to take away. Those are the three main points. One, new accounts have lots of restrictions, and all the fruits of your labor may lead to the same thing as you had in your old account, and that is a lack of success, but there are other ways to handle that. Second part is old accounts can carry baggage from previous things that you did with that account or previous restrictions on that account. And the final is that even though those old accounts have engagement, they have that benefit of a pre-existing audience. That audience comes with specific data points, and if you're not staying in the same niche, it may be very difficult to transfer that audience over, and that's when creating a new account comes back into the fold. Just like everything we talk about with being a creator and being successful on Instagram, there's not an easy answer. You as the creator, you have to make those decisions, and only you are going to know what's right for your content and for your audience. Hope you found this video informative. Now you get to decide, do I start a new account or do I revive that old one? But before you make that decision, hit subscribe, hit like, leave a comment. If you found something of interest or you have a question, drop it in there below. If you have an idea for future content, go ahead and do that as well. I'm always looking to create something new that's going to be useful for you on your journey as a creator on Instagram.